We are 8 minutes in. You remember this gank that happened where Amar dodged a lot of stuff and they played the music and all, that where he actually got low? Look at this tango in his inventory here. That is one of his 3 starting tangos, and we're 9 minutes into the game. That is how little harassment there was in his lane. He got to get his Battle Fury on time, he got to get his Blink Dagger, and then he just became a normal hero. The game smoothed out because it was a bit of a farm fest. And then, again, the best things that Falcon got was they got the Malrine Sand King, which is ridiculously expert. I've made so many segments like this.
First pick, Falcons finals. It doesn't happen very often, guys. It does not.
It can't happen again.
If he wins, it's like you've broke the curse, you've done it. If he loses,
that is lifelong trauma.
Yeah. But it's not only that, like he's going to game 5 again, it's 2-2, but it's like Magnus is also like the bane of their existence. Whether you pick it yourself or they have it, like you have to like get the hero like out of the game as a whole in like bans, because it's really in your head right now.
They just need to relax, okay? They need to regroup. I like what Cap and SVG said about how draft-dependent this series has felt.
Yes.
This almost feels like coach versus coach instead of player versus player. So what we really need right now is for both of these coaches to focus on what they do best. For Xtreme Gaming, what they need to think about is that mid lane. Sure, there was an offlane Ursa, but what happened ultimately? Malrine got to play Dota the way that he always does, and he set the pace for his team. When they were shutting that down, they were doing great.
yeah, Malrine feels like the life of the team. As much as like Effie's mentioning, the hype of everyone else, I fully echo that. Malrine has to be shut down if XG want to try and take the game 5.
And then we also should make a case for the other side, because yes, it would be fantastic and a whole full circle situation for Ame to be crowned king with the squad, of course, in Xtreme Gaming. But on the other side, I do want to highlight that there is another person that could be an uncrowned king as well, in the name of Crit, who has attended his 9th international, the longest consecutive amount of TIs of any player that is here at TI, Kezu. And you can make a strong case for him as well to take this.
You can make a case for like so many of the players on stage, but especially him. He keeps getting his hoodwink over and over. And I will say his game 1, it didn't look particularly great, but he's been stepping it up every game of the way, and he's got the experience. Like when you look at the other players like Amar and Marine, I'm sure that they give so much, not just in like your own gameplay, but how do you help them, how do you keep them cool, how do you go into the next game. So yeah, I mean, you can't really say that someone doesn't deserve it, but you have so many, like all of them, they're just playing their hearts out, and just gonna have to wait and see.
Cannot. May the best team win. May the best uncrowned king win.
Yeah, I mean, for both, it is quite an achievement to get to this point, and then I'm gonna have my heart broken and be happy at the same time at the end of that 5th game. That is for absolute sure. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the coaches in the draft and how important it is, as our commentary team mentioned as well, because there is one thing that I have noticed in these last 3 drafts, and I'm not as Dota nerdy as some other people, so I look at other things. I look at how much bonus time people have left. I find that interesting because I can't compute the draft in my head as fast as, obviously, the pros on stage can. And some people do it a lot faster than others. The bonus time left for the teams at the end of the game generally is about 10 seconds, and sometimes 0. I mean, it's high pressure stakes, totally normal. on the side of Xtreme Gaming, they seem to have come in with a plan every time, leading into 1.5 minute, 2 minute bonus time being left over.
But if you look at the drafts, it doesn't really show it. Actually, it does, all right? The Xtreme have always been first pick. Falcons have always been second pick.
Every game.
Yeah, like when have you really remembered a grand finals where pick and side, or sorry, pick specifically, has always been the same way? Normally, you kind of bounce back and forth. It's like, oh, okay, they got second pick, they win. Let's take it away from them next time. Let's try and show them our strategies. The fact that we have 4 games in a row with the same pick side, pick order, is incredibly rare, at least.
Yeah, and I think also it's like the way it works is that first pick, you set up your stuff, like you make it happen, and the second pick team needs to respond to you. And I think it also goes to show that Falcons were kind of pressured when it comes to the draft too, because they're running out of the clock. They had to go for a last pick Ursa, which is, again, it's incredible. And I think also like Amar deserves a lot of praise. Like the first time you're on the final stage, you're playing the grand finals, you bust this stuff out. This is not normal.
It is not. For the last time, give it up, people. These 10 players and their coaches. This is an absolute marathon in this best of 5. And they are heading into the 5th game of a grand finals of the International. I cannot imagine the pressure and the emotions they must be feeling right now. And the trick to be able to let it all fade away and focus only on that game of Dota, that is a trick that you don't get to practice very often, Tigo.
No, not at all, right? To be in this position, it is so rare, right? And of course, that is now going to be testament to the maturity of the players, the experience that they've gained throughout this tournament, the emotions that they've had to harness through game 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everything now comes down to this 5th and final game.
My eyes are on Ame right now. How are you feeling? You've been here before. This is not your first game 5 of a grand finals. Are you going into this one with confidence, or are you shaken a little bit?
3 times the charm, I think.
And it's also
true.
Like, he's not the only multiple times guy. You have Jinkyu and Xnova. They've also went 2 and 3 in the losses before.
I hope none of them are thinking about it, though. All right, that is.
How can you not?
That's impossible not to.
No, I mean, Xiao Wei's had a chat with them. He's really dialed them in.
Yeah, he ground them to watch their face.
Yeah,
like, you have to go in like hardcore to like drain that out. I think it's near impossible.
You've got Crit, on the other hand. He looks locked in. Like, he's ready. They're happy with what happened.
I mean, absolutely. If I play some 4 Hoodwing and my bear is just smashing people left and right, and he alt-chats 4v5, I kind of like that even. You know, the alt-chat is considered BM, but I think put yourself in the zone that makes you feel at home. Try to lock out that you're sitting in front of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands watching at home.
They were listening to that guy doing the interview in the crowd, right? He said he asked Amar to do some all-chat to win the game, and then he did it. So whoever that guy is, shout out. You helped to win the 4th game.
It worked out. All the positive words coming from the crowd during that time. They paid off. They made it happen. Falcons made it happen, and we are having both teams on match point and only one to come out victorious. And the pressure is mostly on these 2 players. For one, it's the drafting, as we have pointed out how important it is. But we also have pointed out quite a few times actually already before coming to the grand finals, XXS for Xtreme Gaming has been a cornerstone. He has been the one leading the charge to victory, and he is getting targeted in the ban so heavily.
He's been the heart of this team throughout this tournament. Like him on his Blink Initiator type heroes, especially his Shakers, his Centaurs, and what have you, his Mars. Falcons identified that they don't want that smoke. They're going to take away their playmaker. And he's kind of running out of heroes that can make the same kind of play. That is why they went for that Magnus in that last game. They wanted that hero with a low cooldown on that skewer to be able to start the fights for them. But like if your hero pool is getting banned and at the very end your Slardar is getting taken out, it doesn't leave much for you.
It's why Falcons are enjoying being second pick, right? Because they're entering the phase of the Mars ban, Centaur ban, and Shaker ban. When you look at the heroes he's played, it's not easy to craft the Slardar lineup or a Batrider lineup, but the first heroes that I mentioned, you could first pick them in any draft, and you can eventually build something to fix some of their weaknesses. But the Slardars, the Batriders, it is a little bit, more niche.
To me too, also it's 2 games in a row where they had the Skeeter Gyrocopter, and there must be something for XG also that they need to think about. Like this hero will come out over and over for Skeeter. We saw it even in a matchup where I would say it's a very hard game, but they don't care. But the thing is, with the bans that you're mentioning, it makes the hero a lot stronger.
We also did learn something where they banned the Slardar in the phase after picking Gyrocopter, and XG had the ability to pick Sven or Slardar there. So Falcons kind of told XG, like, we're scared of this hero. So if the same draft is to happen again, that could be the change that occurs, where they pick the offlaner slightly earlier to protect it from later bans.
And for Falcons, so long as they get their hands on a Mallory hero in a game where he's uncountered by XG supports, because that's what it feels like the draft was about a few games ago, they're chilling. They're the ones who are daring XG to make a move, come into our triangle, shut down the farm, play into our 7 to 10 minute tower pressure we're applying to your safe lane.
I mean, the momentum is definitely on the Falcon side. Like, you go down, you learn a few things, and then you win this last game in that fashion, where you gave XG a lot of the things that they wanted to. The Ame Sven, you let him open with the SD again, you had the XM Leshrac, the Blink Initiator on the offlane, you had the X Nova like on his staple heroes too, and you went straight through it.
All games, though, have been one after the other, as in Xtreme 1 game 1, Falcons 2, vice, and continuously like that. So it seems like the teams are adapting just slightly. At this point, we would expect Falcons to also adapt, obviously, but they need to be one step ahead. They need to know, they need to get into the minds of Xtreme to think about how they would adapt after that previous game.
Adapt,
Yeah.
and that's the thing where for XG, they can't get in their own heads, right? Because we've seen before the offlane Husker to beat out the anti-mage against BB, I think it was. And then you have, the Ursa here.